in trying to find topics to talk about, or just like because for those small plug, I have a YouTube channel called Drippy Ghost where I cover like ARGs and like unfiction, which is like a fiction story trying to convince you that it's real, or an analog horror, which is my favorite.
We do some of that sometimes here.
Sometimes, yeah. SCP
a little overlap, a little bit.
So I get fed. I'm old, so I scroll Instagram Reels because that algorithm is tailored towards just that kind of niche. And I get fed so many stories from like other conspiracy podcasts or other YouTubers like talking about true crime events or like paranormal sightings. There's so much AI just garbage now where it just makes up events. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to Google, is this a real thing? And all I get linked to is like that reel that was fed to me. And people talking about it on Reddit going, is this real? And then the first comment's like, you dumb motherfucker, that's AI. And then everyone's like, I'm sorry.
I hate that. I recognize that I'm behind the times. Okay. I know this.
At this point,
I don't use AI
fine.
for anything. But
I don't either.
Okay. But I know that people do. And I know what this means. AI is the new .com boom. So I know,
dude,
this is like me in 2004 or 5 not having a website is not using AI right now in 2025.
I literally said that exact thing to my cousin the other week. I said, this AI trend where everybody's getting on it, it's going to explode like the .com bubble. And he goes, I never thought about it that way. I'm like, it's like the exact same.
It's the same thing. But that also means I'm going to be left behind, probably. And that's fine.
But it also means that's why you see so many companies investing billions of dollars into this, like in the .com bubble. It's about to bust.
Hold on, let's go back. What would your therapist Mark have to say about this one?
So, have you heard of the Oedipus complex?
Yeah. Have you heard the name Sigmund Freud?
Have you seen the meme where it's like two guys are stoned? They're like, oh, like, dude, like, what if like you went back in time and like met your mom and like became your own mom? And then Sigmund Freud bursts open the door. He goes, there's a funny theory about that. And they both go, Sigmund Freud.
Oh gosh. So it's like the .com boom.
Yes. So I was comparing it because he works in like IT management for some company. I don't remember. So I was like, so back when the .com bubble was getting big, everybody was making a website. They were investing millions of dollars into like all of these like tiny little websites, all of this web stuff. But then after like 5 years, it all crashed at once because none of them were sustainable. There were so many, it was so oversaturated. And that's exactly what you're seeing with AI. Like, why the hell does my toothbrush need AI? That exists.
Tell me about this. What?
Like, it's supposed to like analyze your brushing habits and like tell like, but like, and so many of these AI models are just based off of nothing, or they're like saying it's AI, but it's just an algorithm, or it's just like a program like that's meant to look like it's like analyzing you and actually like learning, but it's just like a preset thing. But like, I don't need, when I'm messaging someone like on Messenger, I don't need to like a pre-written response. I don't need to go to the YouTube, like in the YouTube settings, in their analysis section, it has at the AI inspiration and goes, here's a few video thumbnails and ideas you can cover based off your topics. I'm like, don't tell me what to do.
So I want you all to, and I'm going to segue into my episode with this. It's actually such a good segue. I want you all to rest assured. This is this podcast that we do, 100% homegrown, organic, human-made, ethical conspiracy comedy podcasting right here. That's what we do.
Ethical conspiracy. Anyway, I mean,
we do it ethically. I think we do it ethically. I think we're careful.
I mean, we're very honest. We don't do a lot of research, and we just talk.
But it's human, right? This is human-made content, and all we will ever make is human-made content. We will not make AI content, and I don't care if I'm left behind. That's what I want to do.
What is AI but not created by humans?
It is, but it's starting to create itself, right? And that's the whole point. So this is what's interesting. You say there's a lot of people doing kind of like what we do.
Yeah.
Right? Using AI stories that are not real, or even full-on AI podcast setups that are just not even like, they're just rendered people, right? With rendered scripts and rendered voices, and none of it's real. What if I told you we could offer something in this very episode that goes so against that it makes it probably more valuable? I can offer you a conspiracy, a true conspiracy, with photographic evidence from the event.
I'm listening.
Okay. Welcome to the Zeitgeist Podcast.
Ooh.
My name is Greg.
I'm Nick. What an opener,
Let's
man.
go. Here's the story. We're going back to 2003, as it just so happens. It's the same time frame from the last episode.
Hell yeah, I just landed here with my Rafflecopter.
You just, yep. Sure.
Yeah, back it up. Back it in.
August 28th, 2003. A man in Erie, Pennsylvania walks into a PNC Bank. He walks in with a walking cane, and he takes a paper to the teller and says, "I need $250,000. I'm robbing this bank." How was he going to rob this bank? The cane he was holding was a modified shotgun.
Ooh.
The teller, for whatever reason, is not able to get $250,000 out of this small bank, this small PNC Bank in Pennsylvania.
Like, why would they have that
So
much
she
on
gets
hand?
about $8,700 and gives it to him. He jets out. He's like, all right, I'm taking the money, I'm going. He's driving. He makes one stop, which I will elaborate on later. From that stop, he starts speeding off to the next one. But by then, the police have caught on to the fact that somebody just robbed this bank in Pennsylvania, and it matches his description, and they had a cane that was actually a gun. They arrest him. He says, "You don't understand. You don't understand." And then his head explodes.
What?
This is the story of Brian Wells, a pizza delivery man who robbed a bank in Erie, Pennsylvania, wearing an explosive collar locked around his neck.
Wait a minute. I've heard this story.
This story is often known as Pizza Bomber.
Yeah, oh,
Pizza Bomber is the story.
I did. So I watched this documentary like 5 years ago.
Oh, there's a documentary? I didn't even know that.
I think I might be wrong, but the collar thing sparked reminded me that it could possibly. Well, continue. I'll see. I'll see if it's the same.
So let's go back. Let's hit the rewind on this, right? Let's freeze frame. You're probably wondering how we got in this situation, right? just before his head explodes, or like as his head is exploding, as his head is exploding, freeze frame. So you're probably wondering how we got here. Let's go back.
Sorry, just a freeze frame of like the guts. Yeah, that's me. I bet you're wondering.
That would have been in a Deadpool movie. I swear.
Oh, that's great.
Okay. So we're going back in time a little bit. Let's talk about Brian Wells. Brian Wells was one of 6 children from Erie, Pennsylvania.
Gross.
I
don't know.
When he was a 16-year-old sophomore, he dropped out of school. He worked as a mechanic. He has been described as childlike and a pushover, and not the brightest crayon in the box. We'll just say that. Okay? At the time of the bank robbery, he had been working at Mamma Mia's Pizzeria for 10 years as a delivery driver.
Mamma Mia.
So a guy without a whole lot of ambition, we'll just say. You work as a pizza delivery driver for 10 years after dropping out of high school. And you live in Pennsylvania. I don't plan to set foot in Pennsylvania. That's all I'm saying.
Never been.
Don't plan to.
Don't plan to.
Don't plan to. That's where dreams go to die, my friends. If you're from Pennsylvania, comment below and we can get into a fight about it.
Are you dead inside?
Yeah. Are you?
You must be live in Pennsylvania.
Okay. So, this is the story. Brian Wells was delivering pizzas, which was his job for over 10 years. He gets called out to deliver a pizza. He goes to delivery address, and he ends up in essentially just an abandoned field, right? And he's like, what's going on? 3 people approach him with weapons, and they say, put this collar on, and they are going to lock it on him, or we'll kill you, and do as we say. Brian Wells, the pizza delivery man, is like, okay. And he puts the collar on. This collar has affixed to it an explosive, okay? They tell him, you need to do exactly what we say and follow these instructions so that you can get the key to unlock this collar and get the explosive off of you before time runs out. And they say every time you get to one of our clues, essentially, it's basically a scavenger hunt. Whenever you get to one of our clues, you get more time added. So
Would you like to play a game?
This
is a Saw movie.
It's Saw. When did the first Saw movie come out? This might have been before that or after that. I don't know.
This is when it came out.
Okay, so maybe it was related, but this is what they planned to do. They planned to get $250,000 from PNC Bank, and then he was going to follow additional elaborate instructions to go to one location, get a note from that location, he'd be able to go to the next location, and so on and so forth, so that he's not being tracked. He's not being followed, he's not being traced. Okay. And he has to do this before the bomb on his neck explodes. Okay?
This is the worst Mario Party minigame. Start!
This is going to be a Mario Party. Mario Party 42 is going to have this game. They've run out of ideas. So anyway.
You're attached with an explosive collar to your neck.
Right. So that's why Brian Wells does what he does, right? He goes, he tries to rob the PNC Bank. He takes what he can get. He goes to the next spot because he knows the clock's ticking, right? The police officers, as soon as they find out that there's a bomb around his neck, and this is why he exploded before they arrested him, they had handcuffed him, but they all stepped way the hell back when they realized there's an explosive collar on this man's neck, okay? And they call in the bomb squad. Bomb squad's supposed to come and defuse the thing. Bomb squad doesn't make it before the bomb goes off, okay? So that's happened to Brian Wells. So after that, naturally, the local police are a wee bit out of their depth, and they call the FBI, and they call the ATF, right? The Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearm Bureau. Why the ATF? I don't know, but they're involved. And that's what you need to know. So the FBI is investigating this case. And the FBI is trying to figure out so many things because there's a lot of question marks
like,
around this.
I'm assuming this collar looks like a very like jerry-rigged homemade device. Because like at first I was like thinking like of a Marvel style sci-fi futuristic thing. I'm like, no, that's got to be more like this looks like a bunch of like dynamite taped together with like a remote control.
I told you there was evidence. Now this is the actual collar.
Oh, that is a saw trap.
And this is 2 surveillance photos of Brian Wells at the PNC Bank with the collar around his neck.
Is it under his shirt?
It's under his shirt.
That's like painfully obvious.
Well, he hid it so the PNC Bank lady wouldn't see that there was a bomb around his neck, so he could rob the bank so that he could get the lock for the key to unlock the bomb.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That was way more sophisticated than I thought.
I told you there'd be photographic evidence, so we're putting it on the screen. Side note, there is... on the internet, there exists footage of the moment that the bomb went off. I will never watch this footage, and I don't encourage you to. But if you're so inclined, it was released in 2003 and has been shared on the internet since then. So you probably could find it if you wanted to. I don't have any interest. I think the story is interesting. That's as far as I'm going to go. Okay, so the FBI is involved in this case. They don't really have much to go on here. They're looking into Brian Wells' life. It is terribly sad. The only contacts that he has outside of his family are a couple of prostitutes that he would call on the regular.
Brian.
Wait, that's not the... We did this in an episode. Prostitutes, not the... sex worker.
Sex worker.
Thank you. There were sex workers that he had on speed dial, I guess. And that was pretty much it. That's all who he interacted with, aside from his family and his coworkers.
10th visit's free.
They
sorry, that's probably in bad taste.
Well,
or not. Maybe they do offer deals like that. Who knows?
I'm only thinking about that because I recently listened to the Kidnapped on New Year's Eve episode, and we made that same joke. No, not I didn't have.
I recently tried out my first my first sex worker.
I recently got my 10th visit. No, but I listened to our Kidnapped on New Year's Eve episode, which is a great episode, and you should all watch it or listen to it. Yeah. But I listened to it, and we made that same joke that, like, why did he have to go and see this woman on New Year's Eve? Like, I guess it was like a New Year's special. Rates are going up next year. Or he had a punch card, and it was like, I got to use this before the end of the year.
I mean, if we brought it up twice...
That's probably true.
And marketing.
I
mean, you sex workers out there, maybe run a special.
You guys, if you know you're running your own business.
I mean, if you're probably limited. I mean, you probably have limited like features available with the special, but you get more clients. I don't know. I don't know how it works.
So back to that. So they looked at Brian Wells' life. No real acquaintances. No real people that he could have been involved with that would have done this, because this again was 2003. So the first thought the FBI had was terrorists. This had to be terrorists. Did he know any terrorists? And they were looking for any kind of Arab-sounding names in his phone book, and they found none, right?
But, like, why would terrorists want to rob banks? Terrorists are meant to spread terror.
Right, and we later find out it had nothing to do with terrorists. Right. It just actually had to do with the depravity that is Pennsylvania. So we'll talk about the other players in a second. But the FBI is getting almost nowhere, right? Until they get a phone call. And it's a phone call they didn't expect, but somebody's got some information on the case, and he's about to blow it all wide open. Okay? The man's name is William Rothstein, calls the FBI, and he says, listen, I heard about that business where that guy's head exploded. Now, I'm not going to tell you I was involved in it, because I wasn't. But I know a whole lot about it. But if you ask me, I wasn't there, but I know exactly who was there and how it went down. And he pointed the investigators, to Marjorie Deal Armstrong. Marjorie was basically a suspicious character as far as William Rothstein is concerned. Why? Because just a few months before, Marjorie had paid William $2,000 to hide the body of her boyfriend in his freezer. That's right.
What? Wait, what?
Marjorie murdered her boyfriend and asked William, her neighbor, to hide the body in his freezer in exchange for $2,000. Hard times in Pennsylvania that you're doing that for $2,000.
Yeah, I would have been like,
Now, okay, $2,000 and $2,003, so that's like $40,000 now or whatever.
I mean,
but still,
if you were like, hey, I have like this dude's body, like I'm like, you're gonna have to make it worth my while.
So
because I will be snitching on you,
right? So naturally, and he did. The FBI shows up, and they're like, "Show me the body," habeas corpus, right? And he opens his freezer. Lo and behold, there's a dead dude in there who was poisoned by Marjorie. So they're like, let's mosey on over to her house, right? And they arrest her.
That seems odd.
She goes to prison, naturally, for the murder of her boyfriend because it's pretty conclusive. She takes a plea deal. She doesn't try to fight it. Probably a smart move on Marjorie's part.
She's like, you kill your boyfriend? Yeah.
Yeah, I did. But she was interrogated for a long while about the Brian Wells murder.
Okay.
And she said, I had nothing to do with that. I don't even know what you're talking about. I wasn't even there, right? That's not my real name, I'm the Lizard King, right? I'm making it up. But anyway, like she had no idea. So they kind of lose a little bit of traction there, but they at least they got one person arrested because she did murder somebody and so on and so forth. Like, the wheels of justice continue to turn. 6 months later, and this is unfortunate for the FBI, but also for William's family. William is no longer accessible as an informant because he dies of cancer. So they got nothing. They have absolutely nothing and nowhere to go, right? Well, that is until they get another surprise tip from a fella named Kenneth. Okay. Kenneth Barnes. The reason this is a surprise is because Kenneth Barnes was already in prison on drug charges.
But he called the police from prison?
He was in prison. He heard Marjorie went to prison. He heard William died. He says, this is an opportunity. I can tell people exactly what went down with this case. So he goes to the FBI and says, hey, I want a lesser sentence on my drug charge in exchange for information.
Okay, so you're probably like, I can say this now because the two people are gone, so I can finally say this.
So he says, this is what happened. This whole thing was masterminded by William Rothstein.
Oh.
And he wanted to put this whole thing together so that they could make him, and he said Marjorie was involved too, but he was the real brains behind it, so they could make $250,000.
So her murdering her boyfriend was just a coincidence?
No, actually, he explained that too. Kenneth told them that she murdered her boyfriend because he got wind of it, and they couldn't let him go to the cops. So that's why he hid the body, William hid the body, and Marjorie killed her boyfriend, because both of them had something to gain or lose from pulling this off successfully, or from the cops finding out about it before the conspiracy could be complete. And I say conspiracy because I mean it. This was a conspiracy. So Kenneth Barnes, he places it all out there. Marjorie was involved. William was the brains behind it. I'd like less prison time, please. And they say, we'll see. So anyway, they kick him back to the jail cell. They go back to Marjorie and they say, Marjorie, Kenneth's been talking. You gotta give us something here, right? And so she does. she explains that Kenneth was also just as involved as the other two in pulling this thing off. And he also had a lot to gain from making this a successful conspiracy, right?
He's the brains of the
Well,
operation.
she didn't say he was the brains. She let William take the fall for that because he was already dead. And what were they going to do, right? But she did say Kenneth played a bigger part than he's saying. Okay?
Okay.
They go back to Kenneth. This is where things get real interesting. Kenneth changes his story. But we believe that this is the true story now. I think they tried to make William the fall guy because he was already dead. Mm-hmm. And they both thought, if William's the fall guy, we can both get less prison time for this. And they were wrong. So Kenneth is like, all right, I'm going to tell you the true story. Here's the truth. It wasn't about $250,000. It was, but it wasn't. What it was about was Marjorie's family inheritance. Okay? I'm going to explain from the beginning. Marjorie's father had a significant sum of money, and she was set to inherit it. But because times apparently were hard in Pennsylvania, and they were probably doing lots of drugs, Kenneth was already in jail for drugs, Marjorie was probably doing drugs, they needed some of the money a lot sooner. Okay? So they came up with a plan. Hey, Kenneth, pick up the phone. Rotary phone, right? Because we're going back in time here. Yep. Actually, I had a rotary phone. I'm not even kidding. Like,
you did?
I did have a rotary phone. Yeah.
I never had one.
It was one of those novelty ones, and then that was before I got the Slinky phone. You remember how big Slinkies were? I had a Slinky phone. And it was the most unwieldy thing, but I did talk on it. Basically, the whole thing was a Slinky, and the top of it opened up so you can have but it was like this big around, so it was like this. Anyway. I'm just saying, she called on her Slinky phone, right, or her football phone, or whatever it was, one of those novelty phones, called Kenneth and says, hey, Kenneth, do me a favor. Kill my dad for me, and then I'll get this inheritance, and I'll give you a cut. Kenneth says, sounds like I'm taking a whole lot of risk here, Marjorie. Maybe you should pay me in advance. And she says, okay, how much do you want? He says, $250,000.
There it is.
And so she says, bet. Yeah, in 2003, she said, bet. And so she's like, I can get that. But how do we get that? She talks to her neighbor, William, who is a pretty intelligent dude. And she says, help me figure this out. Because I want to kill my father so I can get this inheritance. So I can buy black tar heroin and have a real good time, I'm assuming. And so what do we do here? And she comes up with an idea, he comes up with an idea, and they kind of workshop it together.
And the movie Saw had just released.
Yeah, and they just seen the movie Saw in theaters. They decided, well, here's what we can do. This is where it gets actually really interesting. I gotta say. You remember how many contacts Brian Wells had?
Not very many.
Very many.
Just a
couple sex workers.
Oh, no.
The only connection in the entire case to Brian Wells, aside from being a pizza delivery man, is that William Rothstein called the same sex worker that Brian Wells did on the regular. So we think, this is the theory, we don't know, we can't prove this, we think that's where they found out that there's this guy that this sex worker knows, and they were like, right, having a conversation, pillow talking, and she says, I know a guy that's good for this, he's a real pushover. Brian
and he doesn't
Wells.
have a lot of connections,
And
nobody
he
would
doesn't have a lot
miss
of
him.
connections, and nobody would miss him, exactly. He's kind of a burnout, dropped out of high school as a sophomore, he's worked at a pizza place for 10 years.
That's honestly pretty diabolical.
It is. So, they set this up to where they call a pizza from the pizzeria that Brian Wells works at to this location. They create this device with an explosive collar on it. They lock it to him. They force him to rob the bank for them and follow their scavenger hunt so they can get $250,000 so that Kenneth will get paid the $250,000 to kill Marjorie's father so she can get the inheritance. Okay? Kenneth is blowing the whole lid off this thing by sharing all this information, right? And that's what they do. Marjorie, they go back to Marjorie and they go, it's not looking good, Marjorie.
So she's the truth. So it sounds like she's the main brains here.
It's not looking good. Marjorie gets life in prison for this. Both for the murder that's connected to the conspiracy to commit murder and the second murder that she also partook in.
And the thing is,
right? So
they never even killed her dad.
No. So in the conspiracy to commit a murder, she committed a murder, and to cover up the murder that she committed committed another murder.
And the murder she was trying to commit, she never did it.
No, she never even got that done.
Oh my god!
And honestly, what's kind of cosmically funny about this is
You know
not
what
really
she should
funny.
have? Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
The easiest way to do this. Hey, Dad. There's something wrong with this banister on the stairs. Push. Done.
But she didn't want anything tied back to her because it's too obvious.
Oh no, it's
too obvious if she is even in the vicinity. Well, she did this for the inheritance. It must have been a good amount of money. I don't know how much it was.
She probably has like a pass with drugs and stuff, and she has a pass. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, I have no idea how much money it was.
Still, I feel like there's an easier option than a literal saw trap.
This is a tangled web they wove here,
Oh
right?
my god!
But what's kind of cosmically funny is that Kenneth probably wouldn't, even if they had succeeded. Kenneth was in prison already on he got into prison on drug charges. He probably couldn't have committed the murder anyway. So what was she gonna do? She couldn't have even paid him to commit the murder because he was already in prison for something totally unrelated.
Okay.
So she didn't have to do any of this stuff.
Okay, I don't know if you're going to cover this, but like, who made the collar? Do they know or where that came from?
They don't know who made it, but they know that Marjorie and William and Kenneth all conspired together on this. And there was actually one other person whose name escapes me, another female that was related. That she told more information about this story way later, like 2018. Like she told a little bit more about this story because I guess at that point, like the statute of limitations was up and she couldn't go to jail for it. But anyway, there's more to this story. Believe it or not, there's more to this story. Okay. So we know what happened. Marjorie gets life in prison. Kenneth also gets more time in prison than he did for the drug charges, but less than he should have. He got like 22 years or something. Mm-hmm. Both have since died in prison. So justice was served in a way. Now here's what's interesting. There's a theory that Brian Wells was not just an innocent victim and that he was actually in on it.
I had a feeling that was coming.
And that he was going to get a cut. However, he's still a victim because they believe he was told that the bomb was fake. He was just supposed to use that so the police would let him go.
Why would he cover it up in the bank then?
Oh, because he didn't want the bank teller to know. But if he got caught, he wanted to say, hey, guys, you can't arrest me right now or we're all dead because I got a bomb on my neck.
Oh.
Right? So they thought that would be his get out of jail free card, right? Didn't think that went through too well. The only issue with that is, as we know, the bomb was freaking real. Okay?
Yeah.
Another thing, and we there's a lot of photos like that I have of evidence on this case. But another thing, they have notes. These notes that tell Brian what to do and where to go and the different steps, and it's got maps and stuff on it. These are very detailed notes, right? And the idea was that he was supposed to complete this entire scavenger hunt. And each time he got to one of those stopping points, they were going to add time so the bomb wouldn't explode, right? The police later collected all these notes. They followed the route. He would have never made it. It was designed in such a way that he would have never been able to complete all the steps of the scavenger hunt before the bomb went off. So they were intending, this is what they really meant, even if Brian Wells was in on it, they were intending that he would follow all these convoluted steps, be on this wild goose chase, die, they would come find him because they knew where he was going, and they would collect the money.
That makes the most sense. Like, oh, we're going to cut you in, put a bomb on your neck, and then we'll pay you afterward. Like, obviously, they already murdered another dude for getting involved.
What did I say? Why would they? He wasn't the brightest crayon in the box, right? Like, that's like
because like it doesn't make sense to like him be in on it and still like think that it's fake.
Right.
It makes more sense on Brian's behest that he's a victim in all this. And that he got trapped, said wear this or we'll kill you.
Right. Exactly. And here's the field where the pizza delivery was supposed to take place. So this is where he went when they came out.
So just like a radio tower?
There's like a radio tower and a satellite dish there. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, like
Brian Wells was not a very intelligent person, clearly, and he made a lot of mistakes, but he did not deserve to have his head blown up.
No.
That was not, I don't think he knew anything about the conspiracy to commit murder on Marjorie's behalf. I think he just thought, well, we're going to get $250,000 as quick cash, and if you help us, then we'll cut you in on it. So he was a victim through and through.
Because, like, to me, like, if their first meeting was literally that field and they go, hey, man, we got a proposition for you, like, to a total stranger, like, even if he wasn't the brightest guy, I feel like people would still be, I don't know. Maybe if people are that desperate for money, like, hey, thanks for meeting us out here. We actually have this idea to make some money. And, hey, you and me, or this guy, you and me, crystal light,
Crystal meth,
the worker diamond.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know her. Yeah, we're tunnel buddies. So,
gross.
So we come from the same cloth. So she's talked highly of you. You've got like
we spelunk in the same caves, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
we've been on the same water slides. You dig?
We're digging the same ditch.
Yeah,
climbing the same mountains.
Oh boy! But I don't think that's how he was. I don't think he was approached through the sex work. I think that's just how they knew who he was. And they knew he would do something like this.
If they were to these strangers, like if I'm Brian, I see these two people, that would be like the thing. If I'm Kenneth, I'd be like, this is the thing I'm going to relate to you on because hey, I know her, so I want to talk to you about something. Not just like, hey, we're random strangers. Do you want to help us rob a bank? Here's a fake bomb. Like even if you're stupid, like even if you are mentally. I mean this in the most medical way. Even if you are legitimately mentally retarded. Yeah. Like, I would still feel like people would have that common sense to be like, this is freaking me out. I'm out of here. This is worth it.
And I think that he just was... So there's a quote that is attributed to Mark Twain. I don't know if it's true or not. But they say it is much easier to fool somebody than to convince him that he has been fooled. Okay? So it's a lot easier to trick somebody into believing something than to convince them that they've been tricked into believing something. So I think Brian Wells had the thing locked around his neck, and he was more willing to believe that it was fake than that he was actually in danger. I think he was willing to believe, okay, I'm a part of this now. This is just how it has to be. So this must be fake. It has to be fake. I choose to believe that it's fake. I won't let anybody tell me otherwise, right?
Which I get. So I could believe that he was or wasn't.
Yeah,
I believe both are very easily possible.
But what I will say is, in either case, he didn't make it out.
Which I feel
think
like
it was by design.
Because I know hindsight's 2020. Like us looking at that, it's like, well, obviously they're gonna do that to him. Like obviously when he got caught by the cops. Because my first thought is like they see him get caught by the cops. They're watching him the whole time do this from a distance. Like they're making sure it all goes well. They see him get stopped by the cops. They hit the button so he doesn't say shit.
Which I think, I don't know if there was a button or a timer.
I mean, either way, if you said they could add time to it, why not just take away the time?
But that's the thing. I don't think they could add time. I think they had a set timer, and they knew when it would run out, and they knew what stop he would probably be on by the time.
Oh yeah, because if he's being questioned by the police and stuff, he's just running out of time.
Yeah, I think they obviously charted the route because they planted notes along the way. Okay. They knew, all right, he'll make it to note 3, and that's when we'll pick him up, pick up the money, right?
Because there's no way they're not like sitting in the parking lot across the street watching this happen to make sure it goes down correctly. That's at least what I would.
No, they were nowhere near.
I mean, see, maybe that's better because I would be on the parking lot across the street and then I'd probably get caught.
Right.
I don't know.
Because you're a terrible criminal.
Yes, because I'm not a criminal.
You're not. So anyway,
I'm not.
That is the tragic story of Pizza Bomber or Brian Wells, the death of Brian Wells.
This was the documentary I watched a few years ago.
It was? Okay.
Yes. I barely remember it though.
Apparently there's a documentary.
It's on Netflix. It could be gone by now. I don't know. I think it's called Pizza Bomber.
It could be. I don't know. I found this story a long time ago, and I've been sitting on it for a while just because I found it interesting. But I didn't think it was aligned enough with what stuff I normally talked about. But then the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, this is just a great story.
That's good.
And it is a literal conspiracy. So we're doing this. And again, what did I say? Homegrown, organic, human-made conspiracies is what we do. And there's nothing more homegrown than these crazy folks in Pennsylvania making a bomb, putting it around their buddy's neck, and having him go rob a bank.
It sounds more like a Florida story, honestly.
It sounds like a Florida story, but I'm never going to set foot in Pennsylvania. Let's start a flame war in the chats if you're from Pennsylvania. Tell me all about it. Are you guys all just that addicted to crystal meth? I just want to know.
The answer is yes.
Yes. Is that why you're all so broke? Because you're just doing crystal meth. Mm-hmm. Is that why you're giving people, $2,000 or you're taking $2,000 to store a body in your trunk? I mean, or in your fridge.
Because don't forget, this was all a way to pay a hitman to kill someone else.
Yes.
So they had to commit another major felony crime in order to commit another major felony crime.
Right.
Like, I mean, I'm sure drug addiction is that bad because, honestly, in her position, it's just a waiting game. If her dad's already close to kicking the bucket, we
don't know if he was.
True. But you got to just sit on your hands and wait.
But here's the thing. All right. you remember those commercials like this is your brain on drugs, right? I feel like if it was the this is your brain side of it, you would have found a different way to commit this murder to get your inheritance.
Yeah, but
right?
addiction,
especially considering the fact that she killed her boyfriend by poisoning, you would think you could just figure out a way to do that
to your dad instead of your boyfriend,
and do it in a way that's harder to trace.
Because like
right?
you're like, I don't want to get caught for killing my dad, so I'm going to murder 2 other people.
Right. So that's your brain. But this whole story, that's your brain on drugs. Like this is the way the neurons in your brain are all kinds of haywire, and so you're like, this will work, man. This is the way to do it. You know.
You're like,
I don't know. That's the way we gotta do it, man. We gotta put a bomb around his neck. You're like, gotta rob a PNC Bank. It'll all work. Oh. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, I'm assuming that's what happened. Anyway, that's the story of Brian Wells in Erie, Pennsylvania.
It's a pretty eerie story.
Yeah, it's an eerie story. I would like any input. If you have any information on this case, feel free to comment below. I would love to hear it.
One question, where the hell did they get the collar? Who made the collar? They just order off the dock?
No, it was homemade. Somebody made that collar.
Then somebody's obviously smart enough with their hands.
I think it was William.
You said he was a mechanic, right?
No, Brian was a mechanic. But I think William, he didn't make his own death collar, dude. Nobody's that dumb. Nobody's that, because he would have made it with real explosives.
Well, what if he made it to be fake, and then like William comes in and makes it real without him knowing?
Could have been. I'm assuming. I don't think we ever found out who made the collar.
See, that was the main thing. Is like this collar aspect is what makes this case so weird. Is that this explosive collar thing? So I'm like, how? I want to know where that came from. I want to know how that was made, if it was purchased, who made it, because obviously someone's got some kind of smarts to make this device.
They have to. Somebody went to college. I don't know who, but at least one person in the state of Pennsylvania went to college. I'm going to stop hating on Pennsylvania, actually.
Isn't Pennsylvania where a couple of the Ivy League schools are?
I think so, yeah.
Or they, like, Yale? Because Harvard's in Massachusetts.
Yale is in Connecticut, I think.
I think you're right.
I don't know, dude. I didn't go to an Ivy League school. Okay, I don't know. I'm not rich like that. I don't have an. I wouldn't murder my parents for an inheritance because there ain't no inheritance to take.
Same.
You know. So what was I gonna do? So yeah,
I'll murder somebody else's parents.
But how do you get the inheritance? You got to get adopted first.
Yeah,
and then you got to murder them.
I mean,
like the what's her name? Natalia.
Who?
The one who was like a full grown adult but like pretended to be a child.
Yes, like
was it Natalia?
It was the orphan child.
Yes,
like she was like actually 36, but
we don't. That's a whole other conspiracy. We don't actually know how old.
Didn't we cover that?
Did we? We might have covered that.
I think we covered that.
Someone go through the archives and we'll check. We'll have our producer go back through the archives and check. Anyway, let's wrap this one up though because we got a lot more to do.
Yeah,
a lot more episodes to put out. So. Love to hear your thoughts. Please subscribe. We have a lot more stories coming. I mean, we love doing this stuff. And if you like stuff made by humans and not by AI that is verifiably true, or at least reasonable enough to believe it could be true, this is the place for you.
Always ask questions.
We welcome you here. We want you to stay. We want you to love it here. And we never, ever want you to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Is that so bad? Is my love such a horrible thing that you would want to leave? Who gives you the right to be so ungrateful?
Don't even bother with the door; it's already locked.
Anyway,
don't forget, kill your parents.
we get so unhinged at the end of this.
At the end, we're like, we hope you all die and never leave.
I've never said this to another human being. I don't know why I do that.
It's because it's like the anonymity of onlineness.
Except they know who we are. We introduce ourselves at the beginning of every episode.
Here's my full legal name.
Yeah. Yep.
My government issued name.
Yep. Anyway, love you. Bye.
Love you.